Welcome to the Moon Manifesting Podcast with Kyra Howearth. Hi, I'm Kyra, business astrologer, moon manifesting mama, author, teacher, and mentor. I teach you how to harness the energy of the moon, stars, and cosmos so you can manifest your dreams and discover a deeper purpose to your life. Welcome back to the Moon Manifesting Podcast. We are back in the studio with Sasha Andersson. Say hello, Sasha.
Hi.
So we are back with another Manifesting Mama Chat, and this episode is all about Sagittarius season and harnessing the energy of Sagittarius season for parenting, manifestation, and business. So, Sasha, what's coming up in Sagittarius season? What can we expect in the next few weeks?
Well, we're going to get to this, of course, but there's Mercury retrograde.
Oh, I know.
Everyone loves a good Mercury retrograde.
Yes.
I think that's
not
going to
looking
be the
forward to
big
that.
one. Oh, really? I find that because like being Geminis and being Mercury ruled, like we able to deal with that dualistic nature that is Mercury more freely. The last Mercury retrograde, like I actually had car troubles and stuff like that, which was I never actually one of the like stereotypical things. I've never had that problem before, and then I did.
The reason why I'm not looking forward to it is because I've just realized I'm traveling during Mercury retrograde to like 8 hours away. We're driving to Brisbane. Not ideal. But anyway, we'll talk a bit more about Mercury retrograde shortly and go right into all the details of that. So something for us all to look forward to.
Yeah. Do you want to start by giving us the facts? When is Sag season, Kyra?
Yeah, okay. So Sagittarius season will be beginning on the 23rd of November at approximately 1 a.m. New South Wales time, Australian Eastern Daylight Savings time. So pretty much for like everyone else in the world, that'll be the 22nd of November. Yeah, so depending where you are, 22nd, 23rd November.
If you're being born, really.
Yeah. And Sagittarius season will run through until the 22nd of December.
So if you're having a baby, you probably really want to know what time that happens so you don't land yourself a Scorpio. So Sagittarius babies.
There are so many times when I do a reading for someone and it's like, oh, by the way, did you know that this is your sun sign? Because like literally if you were born like an hour or two later, you would have been this other sun sign. And even Sasha's had the same experience.
I've had someone who and she's like on paper, she looks like a classic Taurus. And then I did her chart and she's a Gemini. So imagine what it'd be like to find out that I wasn't the sign I thought I was my entire life. But that is why cusps don't exist, and you should get your chart read by someone who knows what they're talking about.
Absolutely, 100%. Like the timing matters, and there's no such thing as a cusp. You either are one sign or another.
And if you don't know your birth time, I do offer reclamations. We can do that together.
Yes, absolutely. That's a really fun thing to dive into as well. So Sagittarius season, runs for 4 weeks. And during Sagittarius season, we will start off with the full moon in Gemini, which is on the 27th of November at 8:16 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Pretty much everywhere else in the world, there'll be the 27th of November. That's a Monday. And the full moon in Gemini highlights the Gemini energy, which is the sister sign to Sagittarius. It's the opposite sign. And whenever there's a full moon, right, it's always in the opposite sign to whatever sign the sun is in. Okay, so with Sagittarius season, the sun being in Sagittarius, the full moon is in the opposite sign, being Gemini. Okay, so we're going to talk all about sister signs. So as I said, Sagittarius and Gemini are opposite signs. So Sasha, do you want to share a little bit about sister signs? Like what do Sagittarius and Gemini maybe have in common, but how are they also like an opposition?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because like we're Geminis and I get excited for Sagittarius season because I feel like I'm back home, but also it's an opposition. Our sun, like this sun is going to be in opposition to our sun today, this season, which can be challenging because, well, oppositions are opposites. But we talk about sister signs, and you think the sisters get along really well. And I think this is kind of what I kind of want to talk about with the interesting nature of sister signs and oppositions, is that, well, they're the same thing, but the connotation on both those words is very different. When you hear sister sign, you think, yeah, they must get along great. You hear opposition, you think, well, they don't get along at all. But this is kind of, I guess, the interesting interplay when we're looking at astrology. It's the same when we talk about squares and mutable signs. Like, you think we would get along really well without immutable signs. Obviously, I've got a baby coughing over here and choking on milk. But it's kind of when you have too much of the same thing that the opposition starts to challenge, I think. But I really love the Gemini Sagittarius, we'll call it an opposition or a sister sign relationship. All of the oppositions as we go around the chart. So if we want to know, if people are not sure what I mean by opposition, it means literally the sign that's on the opposite side. So Aries and Libra, Taurus and Scorpio, pardon me, Gemini and Sagittarius. Then it would go, Cancer and Capricorn, Leo, Aquarius, and Virgo and Pisces.
Yeah.
So if you didn't know your sister sign, now you do. They have a lot of things in common, but have a different kind of, I guess, evolution is a term I like to use. You know, we've been talking all about Aries and Libra because that's the nodal axis they're on, and that's about self and others, which are the same theme, but very different expressions of. When we're looking at Gemini and Sagittarius, we're kind of looking at, and the way I see Gemini and Sagittarius is Gemini, they're both learners, they're both seekers, they're both sharers. But I always think of Gemini as kind of being a jack of all trades. There's a lot going on. They're really good at a lot of things, whereas Sagittarius has decided this is my focus. They've gone really deep. Like Gemini has a really surface, like, what's the word? Like shallow understanding of a lot of topics.
Yeah.
Whereas Sagittarius has got a really deep understanding on just a couple. But they're the same, they're variations on the same theme.
Yes.
So I get really excited in Sagittarius season because I'm a learner, because I'm a sharer, and that's what this season is about. But yeah, at the same time, like at some point, my sun, the sun is going to oppose my sun. It's also going to oppose my midheaven because of where my chart is. And they're going to be challenging angles. But I guess, particularly in Sagittarius season, that's part of the evolution. What we haven't said so far about Sagittarius is that it is a fire sign.
Yes.
So we're dealing with fiery energy. We're dealing with passion, creativity, motivation, sex, all that fun stuff. It is a mutable sign, which means that it is flexible, it is ready to move on. Flaky is a term we often use when it comes to Sagittarius. Particularly after the depth of Scorpio season, that fixed energy, we're moving into that middle, we're ready to move on to the next thing, we're moving up and out. I always think of Sagittarius, and when we're talking about the houses associated with Scorpio has gone deep. Sagittarius is going to integrate those lessons. It's no longer being triggered by the same things, integrated that learning. So if you've been triggered in Scorpio season, now's the time to integrate that and move on. But it's ruler, and I think this is part of what the fun is. The ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter, which is expansive and opportunistic, associated with travel. And then this is where I really think of Jupiter as being Santa Claus, because Jupiter brings gifts and opportunities, and you don't really have to have done anything to get those. Also, Santa is like smashing his way around the world in a night. Very, very travel. He must love travel, you know. Bringing gifts down people's chimneys. If I was to think about like what sign would Santa be, it'd have to be a Sagittarius.
Yeah.
Just like who think about it, we all know a Sagittarius who's been like, yeah, we can get invited to the chimney just because we're locked out. It's not a big deal. That sign is a Sagittarius. But it's fun. Sagittarius is very much seen as the fun sign as well. So like the big Geminis win Sagittarius season, I just think kind of have fun.
Yeah.
We're entering holiday
absolutely.
season as well.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, the Sagittarius energy definitely does spark fun and joy and abundance, like all the things that Jupiter rules. Growth as well, like expanding your mind, expanding your knowledge, learning new things, becoming more wise, learning things. So yeah, and I just want to go back as well to about like the sister sign thing about the Gemini and Sagittarius opposition and that energy, because one way I like to think of it is that Gemini is like, you know, the social media caption. It's short and sweet to the point. Whereas the Sagittarius is like, you know, they've done like the PhD in the topic, like they've gone so deep. Like that is the difference between these two energies. But we're both like both Sagittarius and Gemini energies, it's both about learning and sharing that information and that knowledge with others.
I
Yeah.
think too, when we're talking about like sister signs and opposition signs, there's always a love-hate relationship. I tend to think of all the Sagittariuses I know in my life because I'm a Gemini, and it's either a really strong, great relationship or it's toxic as hell. So you may find that in your opposite sign. Like you may find that, yeah, and I think of that as sisters, as siblings, sometimes you are the best of friends and sometimes you are mortal enemies.
Yeah.
Like just because it's sister signs doesn't mean we always get along. There's plenty of us who have siblings we don't get along with. So yeah, and I think that's another just lesson in grace, is reminding yourself that it can be good, it can be hard. But yeah, I think particularly Sagittarius season, optimism. It's such an optimistic sign. It's exciting. I love Sagittarius season, and I think everyone does. I mean, it's party season. We're heading into party season. Like everyone loves this. It's holiday season. It's party season.
Exactly. And that's what the full moon in Gemini really is. It is the peak energy of our social life and communication and connecting with other people. So yes,
and especially after we've been much more reserved in Scorpio season. This is where we talk about this cyclical thing that we go through with it. You know, and then we're going to come to Capricorn season and we're going to be a bit more reserved. So thinking cyclically and living in alignment as we do as people, as astrologers and people who live in alignment with these seasons. And if you're listening to this, chances are you are desiring to or feeling this anyway. Now is the time. Sagittarius season is the time to kind of let loose a little bit more, because it's okay, because your Capricorn season will rein you all back in again afterwards. It's all right.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Okay, so we've talked about the full moon and talked about sister signs. So the new moon in Sagittarius will be on the 12th of December. That's at 10:32 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So if you're elsewhere in the world, in the US, UK, that will actually be on the 11th of December. And the new moon in Sagittarius, you know, it's a time for new beginnings, maybe learning new things, thinking about that Sagittarius energy. Like, how would you like to expand your world? What would you like to learn more about, and setting your intentions and goals maybe around that? But to get an even deeper view into what Sagittarius season is bringing up for you, what's going to come up for you throughout the entire Sagittarius season, as well as the Sagittarius new moon, is to find out what's on your chart. Where is Sagittarius on your chart? What house is it in? And do you have any planets in Sagittarius? So, Sasha, what is on your chart?
Well, I've just gone double checked and looked it up, because I know that Sagittarius rules my 4th house, but it's important to mention that when it rules your 4th house, it rules your IC. I want to say this wrong, but that stands for Imon Kohli.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that right? Yeah.
I have no idea how to say it. I can spell it. I can't say
Latin. It's Latin. IC is fine. It's the lowest point on our charts, and it's the closest point to home, is the way I like to think of it, because the 4th house is the house of home and family and safety and stability. It's a house ruled by Cancer, or associated with Cancer. And so for me, even though this is a big expansive house, it's also very much season. It's very much about how I do that with my family. And this immediate thing that hit me just then was my husband and I love listening to podcasts together and reading books. And this is something that's developed in the last year. And I bet you if we went back, it started during last Sagittarius season. Actually, I bet you we started doing this more last Sagittarius season. But yeah, how can we learn together and implement together? And what can we implement together? And I already know that for my 4th house season, my goal is to honor dinner time as a family. No TV, no phones, no screens, just dinner time as a family as part of that 4th house season. But part of that, like when you're bringing in the Sagittarius energy is like, what can we explore together? Planning next year's family holidays together, or future holidays, setting those intentions for, we want to go to Melbourne and take the kids to the aquarium. So setting the intention for that. When are we going to do that? We want to take the kids to the snow next year, doing that sort of thing. And I'm just going to up and spew.
That's so good. You do what you need to do with Remy. And I'm going to share a bit about what's on Sagittarius on my chart while you do that. So Sagittarius falls mostly in my 1st house, a little bit into my 2nd house as well. So for me, being in the 1st house, that's to do with identity and appearance. So for me, it's kind of like a time when I'm going to be coming a bit more out into the open, paying a bit more attention to how I'm appearing to others, maybe changing up my appearance, maybe doing things with my hair or my clothing or putting on more makeup. Who knows? We'll see what Sagittarius brings
Wasn't
up
it
for
last
me.
Sagittarius season you were like, I think I want to get a haircut, and you never did it?
That was actually the new moon in Taurus. Yeah, still didn't do that. But yeah. So I don't have any actual planets in Sagittarius, but I know I have an asteroid, which isn't on the chart that I have in front of me, but I actually have the asteroid Fama, which is the asteroid to do with fame, and that's in my 1st house. So yeah, maybe I'll be a little bit famous during Sagittarius season.
I always think of fama as being fame or notoriety.
Oh, well, we'll see. It could go either way.
I don't actually have any placements in Sag, even on like my full chart. Like when I pull up, heaps of points, I've got nothing in Sag.
Yeah.
Which, and this is besides obviously the IC. That IC is not nothing. But this is where, people will talk about if you've got an empty house or an empty. Hello.
He's just like staring right at the screen.
Yeah,
Hey,
we're gonna
Remy.
have a chat. Of course, if you're watching us on YouTube or on Spotify where you can watch, you can say hi to my little chunker who's saying hello to us. People will see signs in houses with no placements and go, oh, I have nothing in Sagittarius, but you do. You're still going to live a Sagittarius season. It's still going to be affected in those ways. And one thing I've heard is that if you have an empty house, it's just not something that's for this incarnation. It's not a lesson you need to learn in this incarnation, in this lifetime, this soul, in this lifetime, in this place. So maybe that's why I enjoy Sagittarius season 2, because I kind of got my shit together there in previous incarnations, perhaps. So it's like, oh yeah, this is going to be a good one. I like this one. But it will, of course, oppose my sun.
Yes.
That's not nothing. At some point, it's going to oppose my sun.
That's true.
Yeah. And my midheaven, of course, which is our career line and part of that, a legacy we're meant to leave behind. So, yeah.
And that's directly opposite the IC.
The IC, yeah, that's that up and down. So if you're reading in Placidus, that'll be the axis that swings your houses to have them all over the place. In case this means nothing to anyone. If you're looking at your chart and your horizontal axis will always be horizontal, but your vertical axis will shift, and that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. Alrighty, so we have talked about some different Sagittarius season insights. We talked about the full moon, the new moon. We talked about finding Sagittarius on your chart to figure out what's coming up for you. Something that we kind of alluded to but didn't really talk too much in detail yet is Mercury retrograde. So we're looking at what's coming up in Sagittarius season, checking out all the astrological movements that are happening up in the stars and the planets. And there's really not a lot of exciting stuff. I mean, there's always exciting stuff happening, but the most significant thing is Mercury retrograde
for you. This is why we look at our own charts. But collectively, it should be fairly quiet considering where we've been. We're out of retrograde season as a rule. Should I have a sneaky little Mercury retrograde in there?
Yes. So Mercury retrograde will start on the 13th of December. So that is just after the new moon in Sagittarius on the 11th or the 12th of December. Mercury retrograde will start on the 13th. And by then, Mercury will actually be in Capricorn. Mercury has kind of, sped past all the other inner planets. It's racing ahead into the next sign. It's in Capricorn, but it never gets too far away from the sun. It will always have these retrograde motions that kind of help it come back. So
it's 30 degrees, isn't it? It's never more than 30 degrees away. So your Mercury is
something like
always going
that,
to be
yeah.
either the same as your sun or one side sign either side.
That's right. That's right. So Mercury retrograde, it will begin at 8 degrees Capricorn, and then it will move backwards. Well, it will appear to move backwards from our perspective on Earth through to 22 degrees Sagittarius, which will be on the 2nd of January when Mercury retrograde ends. But something that's also quite important to consider is that when we're talking about Mercury retrograde, there's also a shadow period. So as I just said, Mercury retrograde will end at 22 degrees Sagittarius when Mercury comes to 22 degrees Sagittarius. So the shadow period starts when Mercury goes into 22 degrees Sagittarius moving forward until it, then comes back to that degree. So the shadow period actually begins on the 26th of November. So that is coming
which is
up quite soon. Yeah.
It's worth noting we talk about retrogrades. This is what it is, not just that period where it goes back from 8 degrees to 22 degrees. It actually, there's a shadow. So as soon as we hit 22 degrees of Mercury going forward, that's the first pass. Then we retrograde, go back. That's our second pass. And then we'll have our third pass. And so when we're looking at Mercury retrograde, it's the things that happen in that period of time will probably require some kind of redo, which is where the things like back up your files, don't sign paperwork, all that sort of stuff comes from, because these areas that Mercury rules, communication, technology, travel, are going to just require some reflection, like the 3 passes, looking at it 3 times. So it's not just that, and don't freak yourself out. It doesn't mean that Mercury retrograde is 3 times longer than you thought it was. Don't freak yourself out if Mercury retrograde anyway. But being aware that, from that 26th November, just give yourself grace. We're going to do that exact same period again. It's a pass of 3 times, but you get to do everything twice. You get to go forwards in that space twice, which is potential. It gives you the chance to F it up.
Yeah.
We all need some F ups. Let's do it. Let's screw it up and redo it and learn from our mistakes. And Mercury's giving us that gift. Mercury's giving us that opportunity to go back and redo. And that shadow will then end a couple of weeks after. So Mercury retrograde ends on the 2nd of January, but we'll worry about that in the Capricorn episode, I think.
Yeah. Tune into our next Manifesting Mama chat, because
that's going to affect New Year's resolutions and Capricorn planning stuff more than it's going to affect Sagittarius. But
so we'll chat more about that next time. But for now, all you need to know is that Mercury retrograde is beginning really soon. So if you don't already know about Mercury retrograde, there's a ton of episodes already on the podcast all about Mercury retrograde on a really general level. If you're curious about what that means. But basically travel is probably the biggest thing to be watching out for, especially
in this holiday period. Yeah.
Exactly. Especially as it aligns with the Christmas season, a lot of people are going to be traveling to see family. I'm traveling, and I didn't realize it was Mercury retrograde. Otherwise, I probably would have not chosen to do that this year.
Because it is just being prepared. Holidays start and everyone decides to go away, and as you should. This is the time for it. We all get 6 weeks off, socially for a reason.
Right.
I would just caution then watching your void of course moon times. If travel is inevitable, 1, double check everything, make sure you've got insurance. But 2, that's what I'd go to the void of course moon times and make sure that you're not traveling on a retrograde on a void of course moon.
Yes, absolutely. And if you do want to check out your times for when the moon is void of course, make sure you do check out Sasha's void of course moon calendar. She does have a free one
every month. Yes. Download free every month, but if you want to plan ahead, you'll need the yearly one, which is currently 11/11 till the end of this year. I'm in the process of doing the 2024. So if you want to get all of 2024 up front, the price is going to go up in 2024, but if you have the 2023 one, you'll get a quite substantial discount on next year.
Yeah.
So it's worth knowing about.
So definitely get that, because I use Sasha's calendar all the time. It just pops up with notifications, so I never miss a void of course moon time. It is so handy. It
syncs with your calendar, whether iCal, Google, Outlook. You'll get notifications. It tells you how long it is. You've got time to plan for it. And I've got information at my website. But if you've got to travel, which chances are you will. It's fine. It's great. Don't not travel. And this is the other thing when we talk about retrogrades and void of course moons and all these things. Don't not do something because the astrology isn't like optimal. Still do the thing, but just be aware, be conscious, find other ways to increase your chances of success through aligning with the cosmos.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. I was going to say something there and I just totally lost that thought. So we'll just move on. But yeah, Mercury retrograde, that's the main thing to look out for in Sagittarius season. So with that said, we are going to move on to chatting all about how to use this energy in Sagittarius season. So first up, we're going to chat a bit about daily habits, because when we first started doing our Manifesting Mama chats, we were recording back in Virgo season and we'll right into our daily habits. And as time has kind of gone on, we've
fallen off bit by bit.
It has. But Sagittarius season, I feel like it's a really good time to check in with those daily habits, and maybe checking back in and maybe changing them up so that they're more aligned for Sagittarius season.
Lights a fire in you. Like, this is the thing with Sagittarius, is you're not going to do it if it's not fun. So pick anything that's fun. The first thing I thought when we're talking about Sagittarius season is like that learning, that expanding of your mind, or travel. And of course, if you can't travel, you can always travel in books. So a really, really straightforward, simple, immediate habit, something you can do is read. Yes. Whether you read fiction, whether you read non-fiction, whether you read with your kids, whether you audiobook, whether you podcast, whether you sign up to a course, taking Sagittarius season to find anything that interests you. Some smutty fantasy novel, or like a sales course you've been looking at, or anything. You know what it is, that lights you up. Chess, something that's you're going to really love, because when you are successful at something you love, it makes it easier for you to be successful at things you don't love, because you can go, hey, I can do this, and I can do this if I love it. So if it lights a fire in your belly, do it. But this is where I think, like you talked about that, like the PhD, the depth rather than the surface level knowledge. Find something you love and dive into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Explore your passions.
With your kids. Yeah, exploring your passions and diving into it with your kids as well. I don't know if we're up to this part yet, but I just remembered, so in South Australia, the SA libraries have this 1,000 books before school challenge. I'm a teacher, well, wasn't in past life, and evidence shows that children who are read to more have better literacy, writing, comprehension, all those things. So if you've got young kids, maybe your goal is just to read them every day, and it can be the same book every single day. Like, you can read a different book every single day, but you can go to the libraries here in South Australia, and they might have this in other states, and they give you a tracker, and you mark off every book you read. And I thought, I haven't done that with Remy yet. I started that with my girls, and I'm going to bring my girls in on it, because if we all get into bed together and we read a book every night and Remy's there, and give my girls the opportunity to cross off the book that Remy read that day, and give the opportunity for them to read books to him. And that can become a really beautiful daily habit for the mothers around, or the parents around, to read books with your children. Instill a lifelong love of reading. And you don't have to be good at reading. I know that reading can be challenging for some people. This is where kids' books is a really safe way entry into it. Don't start reading your kids a chapter of Harry Potter a night. Go grab That's Not My Puppy off the shelf and read that.
It's funny that you said that, because I was like literally just thinking about like when I was reading out loud to my kids, especially when I had less kids, when it was easier to do the whole reading at bedtime thing, I would choose books that I wanted to read. So I read the entire Harry Potter series out loud to my boys. We read Lord of the Rings out loud. I read The Hobbit out loud.
And if you love that, go for it.
And it was great
that you read to your family, that your family is reading books together. Who cares? It could even be like, particularly if time is an issue or confidence is an issue, why not get the Harry Potter audiobook and listen to a chapter on the way to school? Or if you are traveling, dedicate, like, we're going to listen. We're not just going to listen to The Wiggles or Dad's podcast or whatever it is the whole time. We're going to listen to a book.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So just finding something that you find fun and that maybe your kids will also enjoy. That's, that's what Sagittarius season is about, finding what lights you up. So reading is a really cool and easy daily habit for Sagittarius season. Another thing that Sasha touched on was courses. So learning something new. Me and Sasha are being accountability buddies together at the moment. We are doing some courses through Leonie Dawson's Brilliant Biz and Life Academy, which is amazing.
I'm so excited. Hey, like I'm so excited. And there's something like
Yeah.
something you're excited about. I nearly smashed the whole thing out last night. I had to stop myself.
Yeah.
Like, no, this takes 4 weeks for a reason. Stop now and actually write some notes. Because the
Yeah.
other thing about Sagittarius season, and I think this is something we can get lost in, is just to consume and not to implement. Like this is where you have like, lower evolutions and higher evolutions, even within a sign. And where, Gemini versus Sagittarius, like I'm very, very bad or very good at consuming a lot of information and doing nothing with it. Sagittarius is their opportunity to implement something.
Yes.
Do the doing. Don't just go, oh yeah, I read that book. That was great. I love what it said about cooking or sunshine or whatever.
Yeah.
What are you doing with that information? And that is what Sagittarius offers us.
Exactly. Integration.
And especially us Geminis.
Yes. And another daily habit that I want to mention for Sagittarius season is spiritual practices, because Sagittarius
expansion.
Yeah, expanding your inner world, expanding your spiritual practice. So your spiritual practice could look like anything for you. It could be pulling a tarot card a day. It could be daily yoga or daily meditation or anything that makes you feel a bit more connected to your own spirituality, whatever that may happen to be. So
the tarot card associated with Sagittarius is Temperance, which I've always found such an interesting card and association, because you wouldn't look at Temperance and think Sagittarius, but it is. So for our tarot readers, in case you had never considered that before, worth diving into.
Absolutely.
Maybe that's what you go do. Go and learn the astrological associations of the tarot. Kyra, he has a great tarot deck that can help with that.
That's true. The Moon Manifesting Tarot does go right into different astrological connections to all of the cards. So it's a fun thing to dive into. Okay, so we've got about 10 minutes left to finish up this episode. So we're going to dive into our next 3 sections and we're going to get through this.
See how we're keeping ourselves accountable to time, everyone?
Yeah. Okay, so first up, let's chat about manifesting, because that's next on my list. So how do you Sagittarius season for manifesting? So things that come up in Sagittarius season are things like travel. Maybe you want to manifest travel, going on adventures or planning travel for the year ahead. Sasha was saying before about in Sagittarius season, she's thinking about like where she wants to take her kids for the year ahead. So that might be something that comes up for you. Education, think about what you want to learn more about. And that's not to say that you necessarily dive into that course in Sagittarius season, but maybe you're thinking about, okay, in 2024, I want to, enroll in this course or whatever it happens to be for you. What do you want to learn about? And manifesting your spiritual practice as well. If that's something that is feeling lacking in your life, and I feel like I'm talking to a lot of people lately who have kind of felt a bit disconnected from their spiritual practice, I feel that Sagittarius season is a really beautiful way to manifest a deeper connection to your spiritual practice. And again, that could look different from person to person. It is completely up to you whether your spiritual practice is journaling or yoga or, whatever else it happens to be. Sasha, do you have any thoughts to share about manifesting?
This made me think, like when it comes to Sagittarius season and manifesting, and particularly when it comes to things like courses and travel and things like that, because Sagittarius is to do with opportunities and gifts, does the course that you're looking at have a scholarship? Does the person offering the course, do they offer any free places for those in financial hardship? This is the time to ask. Not only because I feel like, you deserve it, and you do, but you're never going to get anything without asking. And this is the time, because Sagittarius is abundant and Sagittarius is full of opportunity. Put yourself forward for that scholarship, apply for the scholarship. Even if they don't have a scholarship, message and ask if they have one. I've done that before. I've messaged people offering courses and said, hey, I can't really afford that. Do you have any scholarship spots? Are you offering any free spots for this? Anything else? You lose nothing by asking, and chances are you'll get a yes. So when it comes to travel, maybe it is buy a lotto ticket, but that's less odds of coming in your favor than, but that's also part of the manifestation. You've got to do the thing. And this is what we talk about when we're manifesting, is it's not just like saying, hey, universe, I want to go on a holiday, but I can't afford it. Give me money. Go and action that. How are you going to find the money? Are you going to buy the lotto ticket? Are you going to sell clothes in your wardrobe? Are you going to sign up for the course that tells you how to sell things? Is there a scholarship you can ask for to do the course to tell you how to sell things, to make the money to pay for your holiday? You've got to go and do the work. So while Sagittarius might give you a gift, it's not going to give you a gift if you do nothing.
That's right. That's right. You've got to ask.
You've got to ask.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so Sasha, let's move into motherhood throughout Sagittarius season. What's coming up for parenting and kids? Yes.
Take the pressure off, particularly as we're going into holiday season. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere and if you're in the US, you've got Thanksgiving as well, which I think I just had Thanksgiving. We don't do that here, but there's more holidays in the US than there is in Australia at this time of year. It's a massive holiday season. One is have fun. Have fun. Do the things that light you up, make the memories. Lower the expectations so that you can have fun, because we all know that we stress too much at this time. We want our kids to have the experiences, but do you want your kids to remember? And this is where intention comes in. Do you want your kids to remember how stressed you were in the holidays, or do they want to remember the fun times they had? If they make a mess in the yard, so what? And this is a message for me too. It's really, really hot here already. We've already had 40-degree days, 107 Fahrenheit days. And it's stinking hot, and you can't stay inside all day, and the kids need to get out. So just turn the hose on.
Yeah.
Just do it. Have fun. Worry about the mess later. Sagittarius doesn't care. Sagittarius just wants to have fun. Just fun. And we talked a lot about learning already, so I won't cover that again, but have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thought I had about motherhood is sharing your spiritual practice with your kids.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, I know that my kids love it when I invite them to pull a card or to do a bit of yoga with me. And of course, it's not, they're not going to do an hour-long flow with me, like a yoga class, but we might do a few fun poses together. They have a few fun books that have yoga poses, and
people tell me about the cosmic yoga on YouTube and stuff like that.
Yes.
It's fun yoga you can do with your kids. It still involves screens.
Yes.
They'll probably be all but yeah, fairy gardens and making potions and stuff is a nice little witchy way to get. My kids have just discovered potion making.
Oh, cute.
But, you can make little potions in the backyard, can't you?
Yeah, that's so fun.
Go for a hike and find the fairies in the forest. And
yes, absolutely.
I have two little fae. That's why everything with me is fairies, but
yeah, no, I like that. Okay, and then our last little topic or subtopic is business throughout Sagittarius season. So for all the mumpreneurs and other business owners who are listening, some ideas for you to harness Sagittarius season into your business are things like educating your audience. What does your audience need to learn before they even maybe start working with you? What are the things that they need to know, or where do they need to be before they start working with you? So you may have a free PDF that you can send out to clients, or maybe you're just educating them through your social media. How else can you educate your audience?
I feel like this is a really good time to nurture your audience and to give them a lot of free value and education into whatever topic it is that you're selling, but also just into why you're the person they should buy from. Maybe showing some of your fun side on your stories and that kind of thing. being a bit more
Yeah.
authentic in the way you show up, especially if you've experienced some triggers in Scorpio season.
Yes.
um, because we do know that people start to feel the pinch. So while Sagittarius is quite abundant, if you're in a products-based business, this can be a really good time to like hold a sale. I think we will have Black Friday sales coming up soon.
Yeah.
And Christmas sales. So don't forget about those when you're doing your planning for your product-based business. This is one of the best times for product-based businesses. Services, I tend to find not so much. And then into the post-Christmas, it can be quite difficult to, as a service-based business, to generate that. But if you're providing heaps of free value, heaps of free education now, and really focusing on nurturing and loving on and providing your audience with heaps of value, when you do launch again in the new year, when you are telling people when they're writing their New Year's resolutions, but you should be on their New Year's resolution list, whether you're a service-based business like a yoga or something like that, and you want to capitalize on that New Year's thing, this is the time to make sure that you're really, really nurturing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lean into
100%.
that, show that you're fun. I know one yoga teacher who's closing her studio for 6 weeks in 2 weeks because no one does yoga in Christmas and New Year. And then they all come back full force. So how are you capitalizing on that? Literally, how are you going to plan to capitalize on that so that you can, ensure the longevity of your business?
Yes.
I do think
Definitely.
though, product-based businesses, like I know my shop is going to go gangbusters at my market in December, and I'm going to make crap all in January. So also, while you're making money as a product-based business, don't go spending it all. This might not be the time to invest yet because you've got to get through the holiday season, as we all do. But if you're more of a service-based business, a lot of free value right now. So people go, oh, I know that I'm looking at people going, well, this person's not trying to make money off me now. They probably will later, but I'm getting a lot of free value now. So
Yeah.
increases the buy-in when the time does come.
100%. 100%. I agree. So that
I'm just
brings us
thinking now about what I want to do on my business.
Yeah,
I'm
I
also
know,
offering,
right?
I'm going to be offering a scholarship too. I realized I didn't even think. I've been talking about doing my scholarship for a retreat in December. I've just gone, of course I'm doing a scholarship when I'm gifting things away in Sagittarius season.
I find that these chats are like just so inspiring as well, like for us both. Like whenever we do these chats, like, we're obviously sharing inspiration with all our listeners, but we come away and we're like, oh my God, all these ideas now.
And especially because you and I talk every single day, our voice notes are insane. But this kind of chatting brings up so much more stuff that we wouldn't do or get necessarily otherwise, because it's a different format. And so these downloads that we're getting, like that hit me just then. I was like, like nurture your audience so that they'll buy shit from you in January and February. That just came through, and I'm like, crap, how am I going to do that? So you guys who are listening, I hope you do that and let me know how that goes, because
Yes.
I'd love for that download to help us all, because you deserve to be abundant, and Sagittarius is here to show us that you deserve to be abundant.
Absolutely. All right, well, we need to wrap things up. So as we come towards the end of our episode today, we would love to share a bit about how you can continue to work with both of us in our own different ways. So Sasha is currently open for consults.
I am. Yes. So whether you want to plan your Mercury retrograde, whether you are, dealing with things within the family you want to look at, whether you don't know your birth time and you want to know whether you're a Sagittarius or a Capricorn, whether you want to start forecasting for 2024, it's never too early to start planning ahead. Consults are open, books are open. I do have quite limited availability because of my particular season. I've just gestured at my baby for those who are listening. Jump on in now. Let's get it done before Christmas so that you can take that off and you can enjoy your holiday season. And of course, beautiful. The other thing that will be available by the time this episode launches, and this is me setting a deadline for myself, is my 2024 Void of Course Moon calendar download will be available for purchase. I'm planning that to be $33.33. And if you are a 2023 purchaser, you will save the $11.11 you spent in 2023 off of your 2024 version. So if you want to get through the rest of November, December, and then go into 2024 with a discount, go get my Void of Course Moon calendar, and don't travel while the moon is void and Mercury retrograde.
Yes, absolutely.
Or
absolutely.
if you do, to book the insurance twice.
Definitely. So jump onto those offers from Sasha, booking consults, and get her 2024 Void of Course Moon calendar, because that will just change your life for the year ahead. And
You've got something exciting, haven't you?
And yeah, what I've got currently coming up is the Moon Manifesting Coven is now available to join. This is my monthly membership where you're going to be getting regular lunar love notes. Sasha, I know that you have been missing my lunar love notes.
I'm so excited for the coven. I'm really excited.
You'll get monthly live calls with me every new moon to set your intentions and goals. You get access to workbooks every new and full moon to deep dive into how to work with those lunations, and so many other goodies. So if you're obsessed with working with the moon, but you just want to learn more how to do it, need a bit of extra resources and tools to help you work in alignment with the moon, the Coven is your space to manifest your goals and dreams in alignment with the moon. So you'll find the links for all our offers in the show notes below. But yeah, we will catch you all on the next Manifesting Mama chat for Capricorn season in a few weeks. But yeah, for now, all the important links are down in the show notes.
Catch you in the Coven.
And catch you in the Coven, 100%.
I'm going to be there. I'm excited.
So excited. Woo! It's going to be so good. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and stay magical, stay manifesting, and we'll talk with you soon. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Moon Manifesting podcast. If you're wanting more moon magic, check out my book, Moon Manifesting. Download your free Moon Manifesting calendar or connect with me on social media. You can do all of that at kyrahowearth.com.au. Stay magical, stay manifesting, and stay tuned. I'll speak with you in the next episode.